Caliente Uno.
Can you hear that?
You hear it? You can smell it.
Oh man, we gotta put mice traps in here.
Why? Did you see one?
I didn't see one, but they gotta be sniffing this place out. They're like, man, there's Crisco in there, vegetable oil.
They're probably in the kitchen with all the extra chorizo. I ate 3 plates of breakfast this morning. It'll be farty in here pretty soon.
Yeah,
Not in here.
Yeah.
You got a 30-minute window till Fart Town.
For Fart Town. Before we start curing cancer.
Like, I'll leave, go to the snake trailer, come back in the building, and you're like, it just hits you. Like, it's a brown fucking cloud. You're like, holy shit, it's fucking farty in here.
It smelled like stale farts in here this morning when I came in.
This morning? I had no farts yesterday, or this morning. It should be fart-free. You're in a fart-free environment currently. Let's see. 61 degrees outside. It's supposed to be fucking 30-something degrees on Friday. What in
Winter's
the
not over. Awesome. I'd rather have it cold than hot.
I would too. I'd rather it stay fucking cold though. It warms up and fucks shit up. Like I got grass growing all over the fucking gravel right now.
This morning after the gym, I put my jacket on and then drove over to Walmart to get my supplies. And I get in the truck to leave, and I'm like,
supplies. I picture you like getting colored pencils and shit.
God damn, it's fucking hot. Why is it so hot? To take my fucking jacket off.
I drove from the gym back to the shop with the windows down.
Yeah, just last week it was 17 degrees in the morning.
It's February 5th. It is 9:20 in the morning. This is podcast episode 31. We're finishing up yesterday's stuff. We had a lot of them from a couple of different videos. I'd gone back and pulled questions that you guys had asked on some of the more recent, older videos. Fucking gym was awesome this morning. Leg day. Fucking killed it. Came back here, got a little cardio in. Just had breakfast. Actually, I had 3 breakfasts.
3 breakfasts.
3 breakfasts. And Dora not eating's fucking me up because I have to stand there and re-eat with her while she comes in on the second wave, you know.
So you don't constitute bacon inside of ketchup eating? Because she's in there swiping ketchup right now, or swiping.
I don't get it. Like she ate.
I actually thought about trying it, but she looked like when I got over to her side of the table, she looked angry. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, she might bite you.
You just never know.
No, I pretty much know. I have no question that she.
It's like a coiled rattlesnake with a smile on its face every now and then.
Yeah, you never know what's going on.
Does the rattlesnake really want me to pet it, or nope, it's gonna bite me?
Fuck them black Hebrew. Oh, we did that one, huh?
Yeah, we did.
Not Chris Tucker. We might not have shit for a podcast.
Oh man, did we just redo?
You told me that. You told me I did too.
Well,
you said that.
Let's see.
Maybe we'll answer on a previous podcast question about how a person could get their product or we've done all these.
Maybe we'll just re-answer them and see if we answer them the same way.
As for taking the guns, look at Venezuela. I am from Venezuela. Yeah, we've done all these.
Yeah, right. When the taking of guns and shit, you know, they don't have to have cops go door to door. I know everybody keeps posting that thing about the dude where the police came to his house to take his guns
and they killed him.
And then they killed him. That's going to happen a couple of times, but as soon as it becomes known that is what's going on, and police officers start getting killed, they're not going to do that. And the other thing is, once you're talking about nationwide, so there's a difference between me singling out somebody and going, hey, we're going to go confiscate this guns because he's threatening his ex-wife or whatever, right? And them going and confiscating the guns. California actually has a task force that does that. Anybody that has been a felon and has not turned in their firearms, they're going to their houses and they're actually making them turn their firearms in.
Oh, and by the way, they're rearresting you with a 5-year enhancement because you were a felon in possession of firearms.
So, California actually has a task force that's their sole purpose is just to go and get guns that had not been turned in when they were supposed to by court order. But once you take it national, so let's say the Democrats ban AR-15s and we got to get rid of all AR-15s. And they're crazy enough to go, hey, we know through the Droz process who bought AR-15s and we're going to start going to their houses. That's not going to last very long when people respond in the negative.
Especially while They're raiding one house and
Yeah.
start taking fire from the neighbor next door.
From the neighbor's house, and here's the other thing that they have to take in consideration is in the big picture when we're talking a national registry and confiscation of firearms. You know where the sheriff lives. You know where the deputies live. You know where these people live. They're going to be hard pressed. They're going to be hard pressed to go knocking on people's doors when people can be knocking on their doors. It's kind of why it's the same thing about back in the moonshine days during Prohibition. You come down to Tennessee. They talk about driving down here to Tennessee, and you could see the fires. The hills were lit at night by the fires from all the stills that people were making moonshine. The police here knew who was making moonshine, but they certainly weren't going to go and bust up those stills because those guys knew where they lived. That's why you have to send federal authorities. You send the federal authorities from further away, but once it becomes national, everybody knows everybody. It's different when you send, the National Guard to Louisiana and tell them confiscate every gun you see people walking around with. Where if it's national, even that National Guard guy has a neighbor that has an AR-15. It becomes a little less enforceable. But as technology gets better, they won't have to. Like I said, I keep telling people this and they don't understand, is they won't have to come to your house. They'll just turn your life off. That's all they got to do is turn your life off. Turn your money off, turn your water off, turn your lights off, turn your internet off, and you will gladly be going down to the sheriff's department, turning in your AR-15 so you get the fucking lights turned back on your house.
Think about it.
If you live in a bunker and you're eating fucking raviolis from the 70s, then, okay, you're going to be fine. But you're not the norm. The norm is people want to be comfortable, and all I have to do is make you uncomfortable to get you to do what I want you to do.
All right, guys, this is a podcast. I had printed out some shit that we had already printed out. I have less than I thought I did, so you guys ask some topics here. We're on live feed. Throw us some questions, topics. We'll do them on the podcast. Like Jeff was saying, they turn your life off. When we first bought this property here, the water company came to us and said, hey, you are missing a bunch of water. And I go, what are you talking about? And they said, 150,000 gallons have come through your meter in the last 2 weeks. And I said, what does that look like? And he said, an Olympic swimming pool. And I said, it's got to be a mistake. So we walk around all the property. There's no erosion. There's no fucking standing water. There's no water anywhere. So they actually pull, you guys may or may not know this, even in this little tiny ass town, our water company knows every time you have a leaky toilet. They know every time you flush the toilet. Same with your electricity usage. Our water company printed out these sheets for the last fucking month, 30 days, and showed us when the faucet was turned on. They're like, oh, this one right here, this is just a leaky toilet. Here is when a toilet was actually flushed. So you guys thinking you're going to hold up in your house, they fucking know all that's going on in your house. They know when you turn a light switch on. They know when you flush a toilet. They know everything that's going on through your utilities. So thinking you're going to fucking sit in there and be able to use the water, that's how they're going to get you. They're just going to turn your shit off. And even if you were held up and you had stored water and you had fucking, propane burners and all that shit, sooner or later somebody's going to walk over there and turn that light switch off and they're going to see a spike. They're going to know that you're in there. All right, let's see what we got here.
Dean, I don't think the UN would be used in any function within the United States. We have to have a total collapse. We would have to have a total governmental collapse and military collapse for the UN to be in the United States. The one thing that you don't understand about the United Nations is it's fake. It's not real. It's not real. While we spend millions and millions of dollars and, Kenya sends troops to Nairobi, the teeth of the UN, the only teeth that the UN has, when you're talking about the UN enforcing anything in the world, who enforces that? We do. The United States of America. It's our troops that enforce that. It's not troops from Pakistan. It's not troops from... we enforce it. If they need somebody killed or blown up or taken out, they have us do it. We send a task force out to support the UN. We do it. None of the other countries are doing it. If you look like Germany. Germany has a non I can't remember what they call it, but they're not allowed to use force anywhere unless like somebody is literally pulling their fucking thumbnails out. Same thing with all those European countries. When the European countries send troops to whatever shithole, that's right, I said it, shithole African country they're going to this year, those UN troops will literally stand there next to their vehicles while the Hutus and the poo-poos shoot it out right in front of them. When they're dragging chicks into the jungle to rape them, the UN troops will stand right there. Why? Because they have a mandate to not interfere. It's the idea was that just by having a presence of force, you could get these people to calm down and form some sort of half-assed government so we could leave. Truth be told, because the UN has no backbone outside of the U.S. military, because the UN has no backbone whatsoever, all those countries know that. So when UN forces show up, they're just fucking walking around them. Just whatever, dude. You're just fucking in the way with your stupid blue helmet. Sometimes there has been occasions in Africa where those UN forces just get fucking wiped out, moved out of the way. And does the UN do anything in response? A fucking resolution or a condemnation or... the UN is worthless. So no, I don't ever see Chinese troops landing in the United States with blue helmets on trying to take fucking your AR-15. It's not going to be that hard. When they decide, when the younger generation who's not been educated, when the younger generations who've not been educated in the importance of the Constitution of the United States and how terribly wrong things can go once you start going to the socialist regime that the Democrats want to push. They're going to be the ones that are going to take your guns. They're going to outlaw your guns. Remember, they don't have to do it right this second. All they have to do is do like California. If I say, you know what, your AR-15, you can keep it. But when you die, it has to be destroyed. It's a waiting game. All they have to do is wait you out. And then eventually, no one will have guns. You have to teach kids young how important that Second Amendment right is and why that was put in there. That was put in there for a tyrannous government. Even your own government can be tyrannous. It's the same thing that's going on in Venezuela right now. You know why that fucking turd burglar's in charge? Because none of the people have guns and he has the army in his pocket. So he's still in charge. There's nothing they can do about it. Putting 600,000 people in the street and marching and throwing some rocks. As long as the military supports him and they don't have any guns, Venezuela is going to be under his thumb.
Somebody has said they were able to do that because of smart meters. It wasn't. We just recently got smart meters. This was under the normal fucking meter. They knew when all that shit was going on. So imagine what they know with the smart meter.
Yeah, smart meter. With a smart meter, they know every time you turn your fucking TV on, every time you... Shit, I bet they know every time you fucking open up your phone with the smart meters, because it's actually putting out a low-dose signal that goes all the way through your house. The goal, and General Electric is working on this. I believe they have a working prototype. The goal is, and it's the reason why smart meters was pushed out, is the goal is to have a wireless house. So that you don't have any plugs anywhere. You throw your fucking phone on the damn coffee table, and while you're sleeping, it's magically charging.
It's all your 5G stuff.
Yeah, the technology's out there. Like John has it in the Toyota, where you just fucking throw it there, and it's got this one little spot where it charges. That's baby steps. The idea that General Electric wants is your phone is in your pocket, and you're just walking around the house, and it's charging your phone. Lights don't have cords anymore. You got a light in the corner, it's fucking using that smart light bulb to identify electricity, and you just turn it on. So
Samsung phones have had wireless charging for over 10 years now. dudes were saying, dig a well, get off the grid. Most people get off the grid. Most people are not going to do that, man. Like, us even talking about that kind of stuff, we're less than 1%. We have a friend who was very rural in California, and they were kind of off the grid. They had a septic system. They were not on city water. Tell that story.
So I have a good friend who was in Alpine, California, and it was
middle of nowhere.
And it was considered, it wasn't within city limits or anything. And they lived there for, I think they lived there for 20 years plus. And then Alpine Incorporated, when they incorporated, they said, hey, you can't use your wells anymore. You have to use city water. Not only do you have to use city water, not only are these wells going to get capped, and we're going to force you to cap them, but you have to run city water. The city was going to run the water along the road, and then you had to pay for the pipe from the road to your house, even though you'd already lived there 20 years and been paying taxes to that corporation. Now you have to pay even more money. Same thing with electrical lines. So if you think, depending on where you live, right? If you want to come out in the middle of nowhere, buy you 500 acres, live in the middle of those 500 acres, and get you a house that's solar, wind powered, and live off the well, by all means. But if you're anywhere close to a city, they'll force you to get electricity, and they will force you to stop using a well.
All you guys stuck on this well and live off the grid, of course you can do that. What we're talking about, the reason we're talking about this is Jeff said gun confiscation, they're just going to turn your life off.
Yeah.
They're going to turn all your money off. They're going to turn your water off. They're going to turn all your shit off. You guys talking about that, us talking about it, you're less than 1%. They're going to disarm 99% of the population if it ever comes to that.
And then you'll be easy, right?
And it's like somebody said, fucking, you can hold up and live off fucking MREs for fucking 6 months. It'll be a Mountain Dew that your kid gives you up for. It'll be a video game. It won't be you. You'll be fine. It'll be your spouse or your neighbor or your child. Like, that's what's going to fuck. And when they drag your kid out and it gets to that point, you're going to give that shit up, man.
And here's the thing. All you people talking about that, how many are you? If you're on this podcast and you are sending this in, you don't live that way. You're not off the grid. So if you're not off the grid tomorrow, you're not going to get off the grid when they go, hey, we're confiscating your weapons. You're not going to fucking pack up your family and go to a cave in Montana and fucking hold out for the big revolution. All I'm saying is, if we as gun owners, if we don't get to the point where we are uncomfortable enough to actually use the Second Amendment as it was purposed, then you'll just give up your guns.
Easily kill us by chemicals. They'll say it was the flu virus or something else way easier. Of course. How many fucking gas leaks are there around that just look up the amount of gas leaks. Look up the amount of fucking home explosions and just bizarre shit going on. Wireless house like Alexa, even worse, Super 1984. Yes, it's already here, guys. What if they had a well pump on a Jenny? Of course, but that's the minuscule. That's the fucking minute. We're talking about the overall general population.
Yeah, and most people, like I said, if you're here on this thing, you're not living that way. So if you're not living that way right this fucking minute, it's not going to happen. I am still on shore power when it comes to electricity. So every time the power goes out, guess what doesn't work? My well. Yeah, get it. I need to get a generator, blah, blah, blah. Those are things I need to do. But it's just time and money, right? Everything's about time and money. Where you're putting your resources at.
Somebody said, and they own that portion of the road, yet you maintain it, pay taxes on it, and generally handle the government's business. It's always someone close to you. It is always someone close to you. You guys, your enemy will always come from within. Your downfall, it'll be the ex-girlfriend. It'll be somebody who's mad at you, somebody that's jealous of you, somebody you were comfortable talking around. That's always fucking... How many dudes are in a great relationship right now? Every one of you had a shitty relationship before that. Imagine if she knew something that could fuck you up. We got a dude at court right now getting fucking divorced. We got fucking, like, everybody knows somebody. Imagine the hateful shit that happens in court. Imagine if they actually had something to use that's real against you.
And then don't even think about that's the bad stuff. Don't even think about the bad stuff. What are you going to do with your kids? What are you going to do? How are you going to get their insulin? How are you going to get what are you going to do with your kids? You know, every movie that's come out in the last, I don't know, 6 years, that's always the holdup, right? It's always the kids. How much better would Brad Pitt's life have been if he didn't have kids and wife that he was worried about while he was trying to fight the zombies? Same thing with that movie that just came out where you had to be quiet, where everybody had to be quiet. You couldn't make any noise or the monster would get you. How much easier would that whole scenario been if he wouldn't have had kids? You're gonna, when it comes time to pack your kids up, and you know there are things that you're going to sacrifice. We sacrifice for kids, our children, all the time, and why wouldn't you just fuck them? They can have this. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna be like, oh man, I bought this AR-15 at the gun shack. I'm just gonna give them that because they know I have it, and then I have this AR-15 that I bought at the local swap meet. I'm gonna bury that in the backyard for when I need it. Well, when they're coming to get the guns, then that's when you need it anyways.
Uncle Sam will always come knocking on your door once he realizes you're off the grid one way or another. Uncle Sam will always come knocking on your door every time you do something that improves your life, that lessens your need to be up for him. It's the systems. They want you on the systems. They want you in public school. They want you using their fucking grocery stores. They want you having to rely on that check. They want you paying property taxes. They want you buying stuff in your community for sales taxes. It's local government, it's state government, it's federal government. They want you on the systems. They need you to need them.
That's how they become millionaires. I mean, Nancy Pelosi has been in fucking government her whole life. She's a multimillionaire.
There's no way a world powered by 5G tech and beyond can be good for your health. It's not good for your health. They're fucking already coming out. They're already coming out. Look at your cell phone. Testicular cancer because people put it by their nuts when they drive. I'm guilty of that. Look at, why do you think everything's text now? Because talking on the phone was causing brain tumors. Think about it, guys.
We don't necessarily understand the technology that we're putting in place. I mean, think about when Zuckerberg was interviewed by the House committee responsible for that technology. None of those people on that committee had any fucking clue what Facebook was. Because it's all seniority, right? So the longer you've been in Congress, the more committees you get to be on. Because the more committees you're on, the more fucking money and kickbacks you get. The problem with that is technology is moving so fast, there is not a single person in those committees that are qualified to be in those committees anymore. Think about it. The fucking, what's her OCI or Roscoe or Rosio, whatever the fuck. She just got put on a banking committee. She was a fucking bartender last month. She knows nothing about fucking banks.
Couldn't rent an apartment because she didn't make enough money for it.
She knows nothing about banks. And yet she is now on the Democratic Banking Committee. It's the same thing with Maxine Waters.
Like, can't even form a sentence.
Maxine Waters is on the Democratic Banking Committee. How should those two even be? And I'm sure there's 50 other dum-dums, to include Republicans, that are in those committees that have no fucking clue what they're talking about. Like, probably don't even know how to open a checking account. Not that anybody uses checking accounts anymore, but still. Has no idea. And those are the people that are writing the regulations on that stuff.
You got, so like the brain tumor thing, there's a case in San Diego. You know where SDSU is? Mm-hmm. You know where the 5 and 805 cross the 15 right there. They built there's some towers there, super towers, when the 5G stuff was starting to be tested. They look like cell towers, but the boosters on them are way, way bigger. This lady, her son, was staying in a dorm right there at the college, right near there. And out of the blue, he just started feeling sick. They flew out. He was incapable of fucking handling anything. So they fly out, take him to the doctor. They're like, he has a massive brain tumor. Dude dies, like, within a couple of weeks. She starts researching it. What could have caused this? Nobody knows how this kid became fucking ill so fast. 20 fucking students all in the same dorm. Fucking like 15 of them fucking fell off and died within 90 days right there. And they say it's from those super fucking cell towers right there. There's a lot of YouTube videos on it. Those towers are still there today. They're still powered up. People are still getting sick. But the general media is that it's not that. It can't be that. But like all these people all living in the same building all fucking fell ill right at the same time. There's a lot of shit out there on that stuff. Check it out. Look at the smart meters that are making people sick. Look at all the people that they put the smart meter in the house and literally judges have to order to have the fucking meter removed. As soon as the meter goes away, health fucking improves. Some people are just they're susceptible to those fucking whatever that bandwidth is. There's no way a world powered in 5G and beyond can be good for you. We did that one. It will be give me Wi-Fi or give me death. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what it'll be.
Think about it right now.
That's what it'll be. All they have to do is turn that shit off, and you'll be like, you can have whatever you want.
Probably just shoot us in Chicago to take our guns. Murder starts with murder stats will look normal.
Yeah.
News is controlled. They'll never tell you 1,000 peeps are dying. No, they won't. You're right. They won't. There's all kinds of shit happening that they're not telling you. What's been on TV the last 2 days? Nothing but the fucking Super Bowl. It already happened. The closet dude, who gets cut a deal to save their family will be the dude to turn you for sure. Your neighbor's going to turn you in. Look at your kids are going to turn you in. Kids are turning motherfuckers in right now, left and right. Family members. That's the whole indoctrination. If you see something, say something. It's so common that you are desensitized to it. You don't even realize it's happening anymore. Go to a gas pump at a Walmart. Go to a customer service desk at a Walmart. If you see something, say something. It's fucking everywhere. It's on billboards. It's all over the place. Your kids are being taught this in school. Think about it. That's how Hitler did it. Exactly how Hitler did it. Man, I wish I had peeps like this around me. Great conversation going down there. Rich, man, they're around you. You just got to find that person. AI robots will be the muscle.
Yeah, we're doomed when the military and law enforcement finally decide that AI is the way to go and they start taking people out of those police cars, you are fucking doomed. Once it becomes a decision of the robots, as a planet, we're doomed. And the military and all those people are pushing for that shit.
Even without the robots, you guys don't realize it's happening already. Have you noticed police cars with cameras on the corners, front corners, back corners? Those cameras actively fucking look up all the license plates. When that license plate is attached with a warrant or a person of interest, it dings on the computer screen. The police officer no longer has any discretion whether he makes a stop. At that point, they make the stop and make the arrest. It's not a question. There's not a gray area any longer. They just fucking have to pull you over. All the body cameras and all that shit synced. As soon as that thing comes up on the screen, dispatch knows it came up on the screen. Other officers are fucking dispatched. Like, that shit's happening. You can see them right now in any of the big shopping malls. You can see them driving around up and down the aisles. They are scanning those license plates. Yeah. It's not even them doing it. It's been in place for 5 years this has been going on. It's now happening even in smaller towns. Like, the technology is moving.
Like, they don't even have to... They're not doing... The police officer in the car is not doing anything. He's just driving up and down the aisles.
He's just the one with the gun that's going to
eventually, eventually it'll be the Apple car just driving up and down the aisle looking for criminals.
Can't see a thing, still here. Yeah, a lot of guys are saying they can't see it. A lot of guys are saying they can't see it.
That?
Yeah, just because the bandwidth, probably. Government interference in the feed for sure. I've heard that TSA at some airports uses 5G tech and had strange illnesses happen to the people around them. Just search 5G. Just put in 5G in YouTube and watch the doctors talking about it. Just check it out. There's a ton of shit out there.
Just think about it. Just think about any technology. Okay, any technology that's been introduced into the world, whether that's automobiles, whether that's fucking aspirin. There is a time delay before you figure out what's actually wrong with it. So, let's say me and John invent a fucking a buggy whip. There's going to be a fucking time delay. We think it's the greatest thing on the face of the planet. It's going to improve everybody's lives, which most of this technology does. It improves everybody's lives. But it's going to take a couple of years before we figure out that everybody is losing their fucking right eye because of this fucking buggy whip. It takes time. And that's with regulations. Like, they're writing regulations for internet stuff that's 10 years old. Like, they're still, the fucking federal government is writing regulations for MySpace, right? They're still in that. That's how far out they are. It just takes time for people to figure out what the problem is. The 5G thing. There is a bunch of, I guarantee you, there's a bunch of guys with lab coats and pocket protectors like, it's going to be the greatest thing on the face of the planet. It's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to take 10 years for them to figure out, oh, wait a minute, we were giving everybody cancer. That sucks. So let's tweak it a little bit.
What if they were fucking with the pharmaceutical companies? I mean, sell more cancer med.
It's like seatbelts in a car. Man, when I was a kid, you just slid all around the back seat.
Yep.
It took them a while to go, hey, you know what? If we put these seatbelts in here, maybe as many people wouldn't get killed.
Biometric tattoos. Somebody said they read a report from Iron Mountain and lays it all out. Damn, Skully, if you got robot legs, they will turn you off to get your brown paper bag gun.
Yeah, that's the truth. They'll go for that brown paper. I don't want to say that's the first gun I'm going to turn in, but I think the first gun I'm going to turn in is I'm going to do like they did in Los Angeles and just make a bunch of pipe shotguns. Because the first turn in, they're going to be like, hey, we'll give you $200 for every working firearm.
The newer patrol cars down here in Florida have cameras all over, like the Tesla car. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. They have them right here. It's very common now to just be driving down the freeway and have fucking, not even police cars, like unmarked cars, just fucking sedan cars with cameras all over them. Like, you see it almost every weekend. You fucking see one of them at this point.
And it's gonna do a lot of things. Like, the reality is, it's like I said before, you don't know until the technology's in place. Those cameras are actually probably, in the long haul, it's going to improve officer safety. And I don't mean like keeping officers from getting hit in their patrol cars. I'm talking about, like, once people understand that they're going to be a fucking television show at 5 o'clock because every police car has a camera on it, they're probably going to start behaving better. That's just a guess.
Government just passed a bill for dial-up internet a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Is that they're so far behind in the technology that they're passing. Your legislators are passing laws that are irrelevant. And
they don't even realize it.
And they don't realize it
because they're so fucking far protected.
Yeah, they don't realize it.
They're not out there with fucking normal people because they would be fucking eaten.
In the old days, what they would do.
Those cruisers save all the data. Yeah, of course they do.
In the old days, what they would do is those fucking senators would actually hire people. So, like, the guy who's on the finance committee would actually hire somebody. He would have an aide that was actually a finance expert. And when it came time to go in front of committee, he would be like, bullet points, bro. That guy would give him the bullet points, and he would go in there and he would fucking spill the bullet points. But they don't do that anymore. Now all they're fucking hiring is yes men and people that are part of the problem. So that person that's telling him this is what you need to do for Facebook is probably getting a kickback from Mark Zuckerberg.
It's the same thing with your pharmaceutical reps. They're not pharmacists anymore. They're all fucking business majors. Like, they've never fucking had any medical classes whatsoever.
Yes, MARPAT is 5G proof. So if you get a total MARPAT suit, your phone won't charge. We're going to make cases that you put your phone in that'll protect you from
United
charging
Nations,
your
the
phone.
Process. It's actually United Nations, the process. It's Agenda 21 or Agenda 51 now, whatever it's called. Just, like, look that shit up. We used to say it was all tinfoil hat, but if you look at the videos that are out there from 10 years ago, every fucking single piece of that shit has come to pass. They're talking about it openly. Who owns Microsoft? Bill Gates?
I believe so.
The world fucking leader puts the money into, well, basically eugenics and abortion. Look that shit up. Fucking don't take what we're fucking telling
Toilets. You. He's doing a whole toilet thing now. He wants everybody to have a toilet.
Everybody needs a toilet, so we can kill you.
But the thing you need to look at when you're talking about Bill Gates and people like that, you're talking about billionaires. What is going on right now is they are pushing an agenda about a one world government. They are pushing this agenda. That's why every time you hear a commercial about feed the people, it's not feed the people in the Appalachians. It's feed the world. How are we going to feed the world? Suddenly the world has become our problems. And the problem with Americans, for the most part, is we are arrogant,
comfortable,
and we assume that the rest of the world wants to live like we do. And they don't. They could give a shit about America and how we fucking live our lives and what we got rolling on in our head. Yeah, they're going to take our money, but it's just like this fucking pollution control. The Chinese, they have put out 5 times more methane pollution than the Paris Accord allowed. Where we, the United States, who left the Paris Accord last year, our emissions went down. It's amazing. They're going to sign all these things just to hamper America's growth, not their own.
They're out of touch. They still think Pepsi costs 20 cents a can.
Pepsi does cost 20 cents a can, but
for the empty can,
we pay a
tax
and a premium on it, and that's why now it costs so much more.
All right, guys, we're gonna cut this off. We got real shit to do.
Oh man,
that's good. That's a bonus podcast for him. You got some more? Keep going.
No, I don't. But we're gonna have to go do real shit now.
All right, space pilgrims. They hate Israel. All about Israel oil.
Israel oil? Does
Israel have oil?
Israel don't have any oil. Where you been?
All right, guys, we're out of here.
Out.